Hello, everyone. Welcome back to OpenLine, talking with Barbara McGinnis. Barbara McGinnis with Takacs McGinnis Law Firm in Hendersonville. Elder care law is the topic. We set the table for the discussion in the first portion of the show, and we have some calls. Let's go to Giselle. Hello, Giselle.
Hello.
Go right ahead.
Well, my sisters have dementia, and she's on her first stage of Alzheimer's. And I work, but I have to go down to her house in the morning time to give her medicine, and then I have to go back and check on her evening time. But eventually, I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm going to have to quit my job because she's not supposed to be living alone. So her income don't give her a chance to go to the assisted living. She can't afford to do that. So I wanted to know if I bring my sister into my house and get a 2-bedroom, would I get paid for caring for my sister?
That's a great question.
It is a great question, and it's noble that, you know, your first train of thought is that I'm going to quit my job and take care of her. Well, your sister can pay you. She could pay you from her income, and you can create personal care agreements. It's best if you have a contract. If you wanted to apply for the 10 Care at Home program, which is a choices program for home and community-based services, you can apply for that and then provide self-directed care. So it might be hard for her living with you, getting paid to take care of her, but it's certainly a topic worth exploring with them. And you know who you would call. I mean, if you could call our office and talk to us, but if you didn't want to do that, if you wanted to talk to the GNRC, the Greater Regional Nashville, can't always get those initials mixed up, but it's the Greater Nashville Regional Council on Aging. I might be able to put my hands on the phone number before we get off this call, but that office would be able to tell you if you would qualify for being a self-directed caregiver for your sister.
This is something that's so scary for so many people, I bet. So right. I don't know all the details, and I can't go back to Giselle, but she has a sister who's on her own. I didn't get how old, but is going through dementia, Alzheimer's, may not have tons of money for those nursing home or assisted living options that you talked about. Where does that leave people? What can people do here?
Well, the other thing is a lot of times people do not want to have their loved one placed in a nursing home if they can avoid it, and they go to great lengths to keep their family members at home. Sometimes they try too hard, you know, and they don't accept the possibility that good care can be provided in these facilities, and there is socialization on top of that. I did find that I was secretly Googling here. So the Greater Nashville Regional Council on Aging is 615-862-8828. And again, they are a good resource for people that have those kind of questions.
Okay. All right. Well, Giselle, I feel for you. That is a tough situation, and I hope she can call that number, and maybe that can help her. But I know that, yeah, that's tough, and there's just not a lot. There are not a lot of good answers. This is a hard time.
There's not. There's not a lot of good answers or good options. There is some talk at a federal level about creating programs to help reimburse families taking care of families at home instead of placing them. There's increasing, paying for care in nursing homes. It's increasingly expensive, even to the government. And so they're looking for cost-effective alternatives. Plus, we all know people really would rather be at home for I guess the rest of that sentence usually is as long as possible, and possible looks different for different families.
What do you see with Alzheimer's now? How common is it to hear what you just heard from Giselle about dementia, Alzheimer's. Is it all Alzheimer's? What are we seeing? Is it as prevalent as it's ever been? More prevalent? What are you seeing with that?
I think we see more of it because people are living so long, for one thing. There is a statistic that 70% of people over the age of 65 will need some long-term care before they pass away. So when we say that there is a good likelihood, now I'm not 65 and I doubt you are either, but there is some likelihood that we're going to need long-term care before we pass away. And it may not be for 10 years, it may be for 2 or 3 years, but planning for that. And I think our nation needs to plan for that, and state levels needs to plan for that, because we know the aging population is what's really growing. Us baby boomers turning 65 by the thousands every day will put an enormous strain on the insurance system, as well as just the care provider system in our country. We're going to have to come up with some real answers really quick. I think one of the things that we can do is look to how do we age in place. And if we have another caller, I can stop talking.
Oh, well, I'm interested in that. But yeah, we do have another caller.
Okay.
But yeah, look to how we age in place. Okay, well, let's go to this.
Yeah, go ahead.
We'll go to this caller. Hello, this is is this Granny? Hello?
Yeah, Mr. Hall, this is Granny. I want to continue on your conversation about what your first caller is talking about. I've sat for hours in Alzheimer's wards, and, if you talk about people being zombies and desperate and isolated, there ain't no socialization on Alzheimer's wards. And it is a sad thing to sit there and watch, and to watch other patients get jealous when you talk to other patients when you're there to visit your friend, but not other patients. And it's really sad, but they're supposed to have dementia, right? But most of them are so afraid to talk, and most of them are so heavily sedated, it's not even funny. So I've got that off my chest, but let me see if I understand this correctly. One of the main thrusts of Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, was a stipend. You could get up to so much, and it was over $10,000 from the Affordable Care Act alone. If you had a family member that you had to quit your job and stay with, that the government would, like you said, much prefer that you do that than put them in the assisted living and all that other stuff, because it was cheaper and kept money in Medicare and Medicaid instead of going out the door to some corporate nursing home. So that's one of the big things that I thought that Affordable Care Act was to provide, was that stipend. And I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but that's one of the dangers of losing that. And it's just like anything. If it's more than 2 weeks ago, everybody's forgot about it. A lot of the people who passed that law don't know all the provisions that are involved in the Affordable Care Act. But I just want people to find out more about that stipend, because from what I understand, the government will pay you a subsidy, a stipend, to stay with your loved one, and if there's something else, you should get that too. So let me hang up. I've ran my mouth long enough, and let me wave that magic wand and make me forget everything I just said, because I'm over 22. Have a nice day.
Oh, Granny. That's Granny right there. All right. I'm interested in all that. Is there a stipend that was through the Affordable Care Act? Is that still part of the Affordable Care Act? What do you know about that?
I know nothing about that. I don't even know if it's still a provision that still exists. I mean, the Affordable Care Act was altered over the last few years considerably. I know nothing.
It would seem like if it were still intact, you would know something about it.
But, it does.
Yeah.
It does.
It seems like. Okay.
So, no, what we've heard out of the Biden administration is talk. I don't know that it's going to go anywhere until we probably have more of a crisis. But some of the things that we can do to help ourselves age in place, stay in the home that we choose, we can do home assessments. There are professionals like occupational therapists, and actually that's part of what an elder care law firm does. Now, we may not do the formal home assessment, but we can help connect people with these resources so that they can age in place safely or more safely. It could be little things like anticipating stairs. If you have stairs inside your home, how are you going to get up and down stairs? Do you really need to go up and down those stairs on any kind of frequent basis? I've got an upstairs in my house. I don't go up there all so much, except for Christmas decorations kind of thing. But if that happened to be where your bedroom was and you needed to go up there every day, what kind of accommodations could you make? Certainly handrails and lighting and anti-slip surfaces, but maybe some people just need that lift, the little track chair that would take them up there, or elevators, or perhaps, I don't know, supply chain demand might create an issue, but the cost itself of something like that to allow you to stay longer, safer in your home could be a cost that was worthwhile. Outside, ramps usually help take care of some of those issues, or maybe a change in your home environment, like you had talked about, for as you get older, downsizing. Do I really need to take care of a large home on a large plot of land that requires upkeep outside as well as inside? Maybe we start looking for one of those 55 plus communities where some of the maintenance is provided for you. Doors and hallways being wide enough to accommodate wheelchairs. I think most newer homes are built that way, but a lot of the homes that were probably built in the 50s and 60s, much more compact, narrow hallways, narrow doorways. So again, anticipating those kind of needs.
All right, that's all. Yeah, that's all good.
Yeah.
All right, why don't we take a break and we'll come back, talk about wills. I want to talk about wills, and I want to talk about some other things. If let's say you have an elderly parent out of state, what do you do to help that person? We'll be back right after this.